Hey there, welcome back to another review, this time of the 1998 film Hush. Yes, there's more than one film with the title Hush, and that's one of the few reasons why I decided to watch this film and ultimately review it. Also because, well, I saw the trailer for this and I was actually kind of curious about it. I thought it looked pretty good. Well, that's probably because a lot of the footage that I liked about the trailer is probably not in the movie, because for some reason, this film was very, let's just say it was severely edited after the director turned in his first cut of the film. In fact, the film was held back from release for 2 years. It was, I believe, completed in 1996, but it didn't come out in theaters until 1998. And there were some things that were changed, specifically the ending, and because the audience, the test audience, didn't like it, and apparently the tone was changed, and things were edited and things were cut out in order to make the film PG-13, which I guess Sony decided it was Sony's idea that we're going to make a thriller in the vein of Hand the Rocks to Cradle, starring Jessica Lange and Gwyneth Paltrow, and we're gonna make it PG-13 so we can get the teenagers in the theater and get the young adult audience's money. The fact that Sony changed the film to make it a PG-13, and this is back in this proves that Sony was doing stupid shit and doing lame, ridiculous things long before Ghostbusters 2016. They were doing stupid stuff back then, thinking that they're gonna take a psychological thriller and make it PG-13, and somehow that's going to equal more money because it's going to equal the young adults and the teenage girls going rushing to the theater to see Hush, where its main star is Jessica Lange, who was pretty much in her middle age or close to it when she was the lead in this movie. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, this film is directed by Johnathan Darby. He also wrote the screenplay, uh, with help from Jane Rusconi. Now, this is based on a story that he had in mind, and some of the elements of the story are kind of intriguing, but most of it is paint by numbers. Most of it is generic TV movie of the week type thriller stuff. I could have easily seen this being on Lifetime if it had a little bit less of a budget. Hell, I could even see the film itself being on Lifetime. I mean, it's really just there isn't that much to this movie. I was disappointed by the film. I liked the trailer. I wanted it to be good. I'm a big fan of Jessica Lange. I grew up watching her in films like the King Kong remake from the 70s and Tootsie. And I thought it would be interesting to see her playing a sociopath, playing a psycho. That was something that she normally didn't do. In fact, it was one of the first times I think she ever played this type of role. And I think, for the most part, I thought she did a good job. I could sit through the film for her, but, I probably wouldn't watch it again just for Jessica Lange. Um, she was nominated for a Razzie Award for this performance, but I don't really know why. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, she was chewing up the scenery, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that part of her performance. It just means that she was having fun playing this villainess. Um, the rest of the cast, of course, you have Gwyneth Paltrow, Johnathan Schaech, who is a terrible actor. He has no charisma. All he is a pretty boy. You might as well just cast it a mannequin from the department store window, because that's as talented as Johnathan Schaech is. I don't know if I said his last name correctly. Johnathan Schaech. I don't know how the hell to pronounce his last name, and I don't even care. This is the same guy who played the killer with the baseball cap in the Prom Night remake, and he's just as bad here as he is in that movie. I swear he was only casted in this film and casted in anything because he's good looking. I don't think it's because he has any talent. I don't think he's a talented actor. He's just casted because he looks good. He's a good looking guy. And that's it. And like I said earlier, there's like some really good-looking mannequins. Male mannequins and store windows and stuff like that. Doesn't mean they should be casted in movies. It also features a score by Christopher Young, who did a lot of scores that I really enjoy. He's one of my favorite composers. He did the score for The Fly 2, Hellraiser, and definitely a bunch of other films as well. And I thought this score was actually pretty good. I thought that was one of the few things, other than Jessica Lange, that I actually really liked about the movie. Um, there's also another supporting actor in this, or actress, that I also liked her role in. And that is, I'm just looking it up because Wikipedia doesn't list her. I think the actress's name is Nina Foch. Yeah. So Nina Foch, who plays Alice Baring, who is Johnathan Schaech's character, Jackson's grandmother, she was good. I liked her in this. She played kind of a kooky old lady who has a little bit of an attitude that I definitely did enjoy. And Hal Holbrook, he's also in this for a little bit. Hal Holbrook, who was in The Fog and Creepshow. He plays a doctor, but he really doesn't have that much to do. He's kind of just wasted. It's really a nothing role. And as for other elements, the cinematography by Andrew Dunn, it's been there, done that. Edited by Lindsay Klingman, Robert Layton, and Dan Ray. Sometimes the editing is good, other times I don't know, it does feel like there's definite edits, because that's definitely the case. This film was edited. And then you definitely see reshoots near the end. Gwyneth Paltrow's character is clearly thinner. She's got a different hairstyle. So, yeah, there was a complete reshot ending. Because originally, the ending, according to a guy on the IMDb message boards, who he says he worked at Sony Pictures at the time of its production and release, which, this could be true and it could not be. No, it's IMDb. Not everything that's on IMDb is cold hard truth or fact. But, it seems like I don't know, it seems like he knows what he's talking about. So he says, I haven't seen the movie in well over a decade, but when I worked at Sony Pictures at the time of its production and release, I remember seeing the original ending where Jessica Lange's character dies in a fire. She abducts the baby, sets a converted barn on fire while inside, but her son rescues the baby but is unable to save her. And her son is played by Johnathan Schaech. I think it's S-C-H, Schaech, whatever. But he's unable to save her, and from what he says, from what I recall, the movie tested really poorly with audiences, so the ending was reshot prior to its theatrical release. I so wish Jessica would discuss this movie in her interviews. Would be great to better understand why the film was plagued with problems, title changes, postponed releases, etc. Yeah, it seems like this film was had its title changed multiple times. Like I said, postponed 2 years until it was finally released, and it did nothing in the box office. It made $13 million. I don't know what the budget is for the film. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a box office bomb, considering that uh, all the reshoots and all of this kind of stuff. I would not be surprised at all that this was a box office flop for TriStar, which at the time was owned by Sony. Now, the basic gist of the plot is this. You have this couple, Helen and Jackson, who are played by Gwyneth Paltrow and Johnathan. Uh, I'm just going to say Johnathan S., because I can't pronounce his fucking last name. So, Gwyneth and Johnathan, or Helen and Jackson, they live together in New York City. They meet up with Jackson's mother, Martha, played by Jessica Lange. Why'd you say that name? Why'd you say that name, Martha? And then after returning to New York, Helen discovers that she is pregnant. And the whole first half of the film kind of drags because of this whole introducing the characters, and they stay over at Martha's for a lot longer than they originally intended because Jackson is a mama's boy. But Gwyneth Paltrow returns to New York, discovers she's pregnant. She informs Jackson of this news. He asks her to marry him, and she accepts. And he does it in a way that's creepy. He's like, "Marry me." It's not romantic at all. It's just like, "Marry me." You might as well have added, "Marry me, bitch." It's just very, very, very forced. It's very forceful. Uh, So she agrees. The wedding is held at Kilronan, which is this horse ranch slash farm slash mansion over in New York. Not really in New York, it's over in Kentucky, my bad. And there, Helen meets Jackson's paternal grandmother, Alice, played by Nina Foch, who tells Helen that she doesn't trust Martha. And after returning to New York to their apartment, Helen is assaulted by a masked man who steals her locket. And so you have this sort of stuff, things are getting kind of crazy. When Helen says she's pregnant, he cuts her abdomen and leaves. And he says this creepy sort of thing. He's like, "I know where you live." And the fetus was not injured, though, apparently. I guess this guy was just a whiz at cutting her in the stomach. So then this sets a chain of events where Martha says that she wants to sell Ronan because she cannot run it alone. So Helen then tells Jackson she wants to move into Kentucky and in with Martha for a year and help renovate the land because it can make them some money. And then Jackson breaks down, tells Helen that his father died in the house when he was 7, blames himself because he ran into his father pushing him down the stairs. Jackson also tells Helen that his father had been cheating on Martha with Robin Hayes, who is some floozy or whatever. And Helen says that she should go back to Kilronan so Jackson can face his old ghosts. You get multiple scenes of topless Hot John for the women in the audience to get wet to. It really is. It's gratuitous male nudity. No female nudity, but gratuitous male nudity. Sorry, I'm so used to gratuitous female nudity, I just inserted it in there. Um, so yeah, they move in. Martha, she wants this to be her family. And then it kind of turns into a cliche thriller, where you pretty much predict where it's going to go. Where Martha is now, she's obsessed with keeping her family together and will do whatever it takes to keep the family intact. She wants to take Gwyneth Paltrow's baby for herself, feeds her the stuff that'll, some horse drugs that'll make her have her baby earlier, and then she'll take the baby away and raise it as her own or something, and then maybe have Gwyneth Paltrow sent to a mental institution. I don't know. It's one of those things that's just like it goes where you expect it's going to go. But then it doesn't go as far as you expect it's going to go, which that's what makes it really forgettable because it's very tame. It's tame, lame, and forgettable because it doesn't go anywhere. In terms of intensity, it's very safe. It plays it safe. The craziest it gets is Jessica Lange turns on the cold water and on Nina Foch when she's at the resting home, and she's luxury resting home, by the way, and she's getting a steam bath, and she turns on the cold water. It's really about it. Jessica Lange doesn't kill anyone, except you find out that she was the one that killed Jackson's father all those years ago. But other than that, there's no body count, there's no thrills, and there's no chills. It just gets boring and just really slow. And it's only watchable because, hey, I like Jessica Lange. But other than that, it's one of those things where it was on the TV. I was watching it on the flat screen. All right, it was on. It doesn't. I mean, I've seen worse, but I've seen a lot better. So yeah, and then the Johnathan S character, Jackson is such a mama's boy. And he's such an idiot. He doesn't piece things together until way too late, until things really get out of hand, and then the movie just kind of ends. Where you have this whole sort of thing where Gwyneth Paltrow plays Jessica Lange's game and turns the tables on her and reveals her dirty secrets to Jackson. And Jackson completely changes his mind in like a blink of an eye. He's been a mama's boy the whole film, and then he hears all this, and now he's like, "You're a bitch! Oh, you're not my mother!" And then, "Oh, you're not gonna see me or my wife or my grandson ever again, ever!" You know, and then just leaves her there to cry alone in her home. And I'm like, shouldn't she get, I don't know, arrested? Sent to jail? She murdered your father? That's your justice? That's justice for you. Just gonna leave her alone to live in the lap of luxury. I guess, oh, she's not gonna have to see her family. That's the worst crime for her. I guess so, but she's a sociopath and she can get a new family and probably will. And the fact that you're just letting her go, then she'll probably go on to ruin other people's lives. Thank you, Jackson. You're even more of a dumbass than I thought you were. And Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't do anything either. It's like, oh, just leave this old woman there. She's a sociopath. She has proven sociopathic tendencies. She's a pillar of the community. Oh, maybe she'll lose that. Oh, maybe she won't because she's a good she's a good bullshit talker. She's really good at talking bullshit and bullshitting people. So, who knows? I mean, really. So it's just very anticlimactic. And then everybody, they just, she doesn't die. She doesn't really atone for her sins. It's just one of those like, your secret's out and you don't get to see the family and your idyllic dream of the perfect family is dead. And I guess that's her comeuppance, I guess. I mean, it's nice that, a character like Nina Foch is still alive, and there's a nice tender moment where Gwyneth Paltrow shares, lets her see her her grandson. And that was nice to see. See her great grandson. And because she was a character who was kind of shunned by Jessica Lange's character Martha, and this whole thing where Alice is not to be trusted, but really it's Martha who's the one who shouldn't be trusted, and so on. But yeah, I mean, that's Hush. I don't even know why it's called Hush. I really don't. I'm really curious to know what the original title was for this, or the other titles for this movie, because I don't know why this is called Hush. Don't breathe a word? I guess don't breathe a word about Martha being a crazy bitch. Okay, alright. Okay, whatever. I don't know what else to say about this movie, except it's not very exciting, it's not very thrilling, it's not very good, sadly, and it's just about, it's just as good as the other Hush. It's really too bad. Both Hushes have their merits, but in my opinion, the negatives far outweigh the positives. And I don't know what else to say about this Hush other than if I was going to rate it out of 5 stars, I'd give it 2. 2 out of 5, because I didn't hate the film. I liked where it was going in the beginning. I didn't mind Gwyneth Paltrow. I didn't love her performance. I like Jessica Lange more, but I thought Gwyneth Paltrow was alright. And I like the score by Christopher Young, and I like some of the suspense elements in the script, but it just doesn't come together very well. And it doesn't live up to its potential, just like the other Hush didn't live up to its potential in my mind. So yeah, I would like to see another cut of this film. I would like to see that ending in the burning farmhouse and Jessica Lange and Gwyneth Paltrow fighting, and Jessica Lange gets knocked out with the weapon that she used to kill her husband all those years ago, but apparently that ending sucked. And apparently the test audiences wanted the boring ending where nothing happens, where it's just Johnathan, such a bitch, whatever his last name is, he remembers what happened, or Gwyneth Paltrow tells him, reveals, no longer going to be silent about his mother's deadly past, and then he just like, you're not my mother, and that's it. I'm like, you're not a very good movie. You're really not. But anyway, yeah, it's. I guess you could say it's harmless. I guess you could say it could be a time waster for some people, but yeah, it's still a pretty poor film. Not a very good movie. And there's definitely a reason why the director, Jonathan Darby, never directed a feature film ever again. Because the directing, he's just not that great of a director. He adds nothing dynamic to this film. There's no dynamic direction. There's nothing unique to it. This is the type of directing that does not get you another job in Hollywood. And it didn't help either that this film pretty much people pretty much became pretty hush about the movie Hush after it came out. I can see why. It's about as memorable as a TV movie on the Lifetime channel. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you guys later. See ya.